I'm going to cut straight to the chase, no wind, because this is the type of detail that goes unnoticed for years. And when the person finally sees her, she is left with a feeling of, how did I never notice this before? And then do with me now. Open your palm. The preference for a dominant hand, the one that you use to write with, without even looking at the light. If you need it closer to his face. And tell me in your minds, you will see an A formed by the lines? Because you see, I am going to talk about what almost no one have the guts to say it in a way that is clear. It usually appears in individuals who carry a specific way. I'm not talking about the magic that I'm talking about the standard. I'm talking about the repetition. I'm talking about the stages that seem to push you forward, even when you don't want to. I'm talking about that strange feeling that life puts you at the crossroads, and you always will need to decide on some great stuff. And do you know what gets me the most intrigued by? This is what a lot of people find this symbol to me. It describes the same thing. Moments of a face that came out of nowhere, the responsibilities that came too soon, and in a sense, that doesn't explain, but it hits him. Subscribe to the channel. Why do I do this kind of reading of the symbolic direct? And if you've got a sign on your hand, I guarantee that you are going to want to understand the next. And share this content with someone who keeps saying, my life seems to be a so-called, or to someone who loves a mystery and self-discovery, because you will. That person's got that A, and you never noticed. Closed. Now breathe in and come with me. I have to make it very clear right at the beginning when I talk to read from the hand, and I'm not granting the target, and I'm not saying it's going to happen to such a thing and it's done. I see it as a map, is a symbolic map, does not forces you to the floor. The map only shows you the ways. I like to think so. The main talk of the stream of mind, emotion, vitality, and overall direction. Since the symbols, such as letters, triangles, crosses, stars, and they are like bullets. It's like if you were to say, there is a point that deserves attention. And when it comes up in a way that is recognizable, like a letter, it draws attention to itself because it is not so common. A lot of people have a standard thread, intersections of random micro-scratches. But for a symbol with a format that is repeated, that you can identify it, turns into an issue for a simple reason. It tends to hit you with stories of life in very specific ways. When I look at this, I'm thinking, this is supernatural. I'm like, what the pattern of psychological, emotional, spiritual, and this person is in, which may be reflected in the map. And it is for this reason that I can't talk about it with you without you putting in fear. I want to give you clearly, don't panic. I want to give you a direction, not a dependency. Now I'm going to be a good teacher, because if you don't, you're going to look wrong, and it is going to be confused. I think of the lyrics to True in the hand of three things will happen. The two lines form a sort of the triangle, or the peak, as if they were on the side of the A. There is a line across the middle, like a lake and A. The format is displayed with consistent. It is not only a risk in isolation. Now, please note that it can appear in many different forms. In the crystal clear, it seems to be a letter that is the same, easy to see, the angled middle of a club, but you can still recognize it. The fragmented, you see the triangle and you'll see a bar, but it is missing a small piece. I look at the place where it appears, because that's a game changer. In a near line of life talks about the power and the cycles are personal to you. The one close to the line of the head, it speaks to the mind, vision, and decisions made. The one close to the line of the target speech, of course, a change of purpose, and the girl's work and life. The one in the center, you can talk about something else, something more general. Purpose, identity, and the calling. If you're looking at right now and saying to yourself, I think I have it, but I'm not sure, I don't think. I will only say, it looks cool. It changes with the angle and stretch out your toes, relax your hand. Sometimes the symbol is seen at its best when your hand's easy. Sometimes when they are tight. I want you to look as if you're looking for a constellation on the sky. At first it seems nothing, and after that it appears. Right now, I'm going to be at the point that it leaves a lot of people goose pimples. Why is it that draws so much attention? Because in the real world, I can see a pattern. He who has a symbol of a well-marked and tends to live a life of well-marked. I'm not saying that it is a hand causing her to life. I'm telling you by the hand, and life seems to talk to. A person carries on the body of the story that she's living on the inside. The letter A, in the various interpretations of the symbolic, is associated with 3 words that I always keep in mind. Warning, open, the rise. On the alert, because it tends to appear in people. You need to learn how to choose with my life. Opening as it shows the stages of growth, new doors, new versions of each other. The rise because people are generally not made to be a lowlife. All she could feel it. And this is where I want to pull into the conversation. I want you to comment on something very specific. You will have a different hand in the form of a letter, a star, a triangle, a cross, or a symbol. That kind of weird. Comments on, I got a signal, and it describes what it is. And if that is the letter that is the same, he says, I have to. I'm going to read it to see how many people are carrying it. When I talk about leadership, and I'm not talking about the one leading the noisy, send in the whole world. I'm talking about the leadership of that, is you have to understand. People will come into a place and the climate has changed. The people are looking for when they are in need of direction. The people that had seen reference to the same, trying to find you. The A's, however, it is also seen as a peak, the climb, the point of decision-making. And I'm noticing that a lot of people with this symbol, he lives in a mind strong. You think a lot, notice the detail. It reads the environment, it captures the intent. And it's a double-edged sword. If you learn how to use it, it becomes a vision. If you don't learn, it turns into an anxiety disorder. The intuition comes in here. Such a thing is almost inevitable. I've heard many times the phrase, I felt like I was going to go wrong, but I was the same way. And I talk about it with affection. If you have this, oftentimes, your learning process is to stop you from cheating on your own understanding. Sometimes the signal is well in hand. Sometimes the signal is up in the body as a whole. A hand draws the thing that you will ever feel. I don't want to put you in fear, but I do want to put in a good warning that alerts you, that makes you smarter, more of his own man. In some traditions, symbols, strong, arise out of or are visible in the phase of transformation. And the transformation is almost always along with the test. Not a test of punishment, but a test of maturity. I like to translate it like this. Life puts you in situations that may require a stronger version of you. And if you're living in the repetition of the error, the repetition of the pattern in the relationship, the repetition of frustration, the feeling of, I will always fall in the same place. So I say, to you can be an invitation for you to say, I've had enough. An invitation for you to get out of the auto. And you know why is this so urgent? Because of the automatic transmission is comfortable for a long time, but he's a snake expensive after that. Now type in a meaningful, in repentance, in wasted time, energy drained, and in the people to the wrong getting too close. I'm going to open up here, as if I was talking to someone very close to you, because I want you to feel as if they understood. 1. I will take the weight soon. A lot of the people, by the symbols marked on reports, that it had to be strong before its time. And it's a type of personality. The person becomes the head turned to solve. It turns into what's working. Just in at times, and he's tired. Standard 2. It's my life. You must face the unexpected. The change of the school, the town, and the friendship. The respect, of course, in my head. The person does not understand why everything was changing so much. But then she realizes that with every change, lapidou onto something. Standard 3. I don't feel that I was born to live a little, even when you try to fit in, for something that bothers you. You looks at the world and think, it's not just that. And that last sentence is a dangerous and beautiful at the same time. As long as we take you for a purpose, or lead you to frustration if you get stuck. If you can't identify themselves with it, and I don't want you to be just a spectator sport, sign up now, for real, because I am going to bring you more of the symbols, standards, and interpretations that can help you understand your mind, your emotion, your way. Click to sign up and stay here with me, because this is not just a curiosity, it is a tool for you to see. I've learned one thing from watching people and observing the cycles. When people ignore to a standard, he's coming back. It's not because the universe hates you, but because it's your life you want to teach. The bypass does not fade. To ignore delays. And what I see happen when someone ignores the sign is a hand, and it is the intuition that it is the behavior is as follows. A person enters into relationships, similar to people of different. The person repeats the years. With apologies to the new, they are saying that you want to change it, but it keeps picking the same kind of way. And so was born the void. I'm doing everything, but nothing seems to fit in. And sometimes you don't fit in because of that person's trying to make a living with the parts that are not of it. If you have two, I say to you, I pose a simple question. What do you know that you need to change it, but is still holding off? I think it's dangerous to both sides, to the point of believing in anything without thinking of you, and the end of the debonair everything with no experience. I'm in the middle. I see it. I compare. I am in the real world. I interpret them like this. I look at the symbol. I notice where he's in the tub. I cross my story, my phases of my pain on my face. I get an object lesson. What did I do different this time? Because of the symbol that had not seen action in turn is only for entertainment. And I don't want it to be entertaining. I want this to turn into a magnifying glass. Right now, I want you to comment on something very specific. When you look at your hand, you see the closer to what degree. Comments on next to the thumb, the middle, the closer to the word, or in the close of the pulse. Even though it is an approximation, I want to map this out for you. I'm not going to pretend that there is a universal rule, shut it, because each reading is a reading that. But I can't tell you how I like to interpret the theme of a dominant position. If the link is near the line of life, I put a personal energy, the vitality, and the cycles of rebirth. It usually indicates that a person has the stages of death and rebirth, the symbolic. It ends with a version of the old and was born one another. If the link is near the head, I associate the mind, strategy, vision, and intelligence practice, as well as the tendency to want to load your concern and auto-co-brancer. It can also be a sign of a person who needs to learn to quiet the mind. If the link is near the line of the heart, I associate with the emotions of a deep, intense love, lessons and welcoming. Many of the times, it indicates that a person can learn a lot through on the relationship, and the need to learn a border too. If the link is near the line of fate, I would associate for the purpose, direction, and changes in the route, and a calling. This is the kind of person that you can't ignore for a long time. You feel like you were born to do. And remember, this is not a life sentence. This is a theme. It is a clue. I'm going to give you a step-by-step, simple, no mysticism, no exaggeration here, but with the intention to do so. Step 1. I look at my hand and I look at my life. I look at the pro symbol and I ask myself, what in me is okay, asking for attention? Step 2. I write, even if it's in a block of notes, in 3 phrases. I will always. I repeat. I'm afraid of. I feel like I was born to. This year it seems silly, but it opens to the inside. Step 3. I want a micro-attitude today. It can also be a conversation that I was leaving. It can also be cut out of a habit that is making me hot. It can be the start of something small. I will leave for later. Why do I think of it? A small, attitudes change, the major targets. If you found the letter, he commented, I found you. And it tells me one thing. Do you feel that your life is guided by the mind or the heart? He says, the more the mind, or over heart. I want you to understand your pattern. I'm going to be very honest. There are people who loves to look for a symbol on the body because it gives us a sense of meaning, but it doesn't change anything in your life. Then flips over the collection of facts. I don't want to do this for you. I think that if to symbolize the alert, open and rise, to live with the symbol, stop the slow, a stop to accept a crumb, stop putting off what you know you need to get started, stop pretending you're not angry when you're, and I know that this will require courage. And I know that courage was not born ready-made. Courage to be built by doing. So if you have 2, I'll leave you with a phrase I like to say. The hand and shows you a map, but it is you who chooses your path. Now, I'm going to protect you from the traps of mental and common. Mistake 1. I don't think that makes me feel special to be up to the entire world. It inflates the ego and seal. The symbol is a crown. The symbol is the tool for you. Mistake 2. I don't think it's bad luck or a curse. This creates fear, and it hangs in your life. And the constant fear becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. Mistake 3. I've been using it as an excuse to not take action. Oh my gosh, I am like this because I'm just a symbol. No, you are ultimately responsible for who you choose to be. The equation is, I've been using it as a mirror, and the power is not meant for them. It serves to adjust. I'm going to do 3 more questions. Responds to mental health, with all their heart. If you want it, reply in the comments as well. Over the past few months, I felt that my life was okay. Me and jerking me mature. I'm wrapping up a stage and the beginning of another. I feel that I can't stand it anymore to repeat the same pattern. If you said yes to at least 2, I think that you're in that stage of the game. And the phase of the turn, it has a feature of her fear and gives you the excitement while at the same time. And I'll tell you what I would do if I were in your place. I would expect to feel confident. Because it is an absolute certainty, almost never come up before. She will come after you when you are running through it. Comment here, so I can understand your point. What is the area of your life you're asking for a change now? Write 1 word only. Relationship, work, family, money, self-esteem, studies, health, and purpose. I want to read it and see what the issue it appears in the symbol. Right now, I'm going to go with the message, which is the way I really believe in. If the letter is in your hand, I see this as a warning to the beautiful and strong you didn't come to the US to live in the automatic transmission. You've come to notice a pattern. You've come to grow on your face. You have come to the US to learn to trust in thine own understanding. You have come to the US to build a life in which you have your own face, not the face of fear. And I'm not you, promising the living is easy. I'm in you, promising to conscious living. And of conscious life, it hurts less than to life again. Right now, I'm going to ask you in a very direct and very strong, because if you've made it this far, I know that you got subscribe to the channel now, not later. Now for the next video, it might just be the sign that you've got and still don't get it. Like the video, because this will make the content reach more people that you're lost and need a sign. I see it. Share with anyone who loves mystery, palm reading, spirituality, and self-discovery. And one that you feel like you're living in a new phase of the turn and do not know how to explain it. And comment below if you have a letter A, where it appears to be, and how did you feel listening to it. And there's one more thing to do, and that is the question that I want you to answer, because I get to turn your answer into the next content. What other lines do you have in your hand or another part of the body? It may be a different symbol on the palm, a mark on the finger, with a row of strange, wear it on your wrist, a dot that has always caught our attention. On arm, on shoulder, on his chest, in the neck to me. What do you have in your hand, or another part of the body, and as a result is in form, location, size? I want to know why it sometimes does not come alone, and the set of signals is that it reveals the patterns. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the comments. And if you feel that this video spoke to you, and so do I say unto thee, he is not unaware of this. Your hand may be only skin and line, but it's your life you're screaming for the meaning of it. And I'm here to help you with those.